Hi, everyone. My name is Sunita Kannan, and I'm the Global AI Sales and Strategy Lead at Microsoft. I have a background in quantum and computational physics, and I have several years of experience in data science and AI in consulting as well as in research. I wanted to introduce artificial intelligence first, which is the ability of technology to perceive, learn, and reason to adapt and extend the capabilities of people in organizations, carrying out tasks based on what they are trained on. And we all know that AI is becoming increasingly integrated into our lives every day. And AI is known to do amazing things, right? Think about hiring that right candidate for the job to something that we take for granted every day, translation services, to something really cutting edge like drug discovery and research for cancer. So obviously AI is known to have massive opportunities. And AI only surprises us with possibilities, new possibilities every day. And it spans across all different industries, whether it's manufacturing, retail, or healthcare. And we take a look at this. It's an organ detection image, and it points out to some place where there is some predictive analytics going on. That is AI. And obviously, it can solve really complex problems. Think about being able to recognize faces, predicting something before it even happens to be able to prevent it if it's going wrong. Think about facial recognition and being able to find all the CEOs through a simple search. Simple on your end, but complex with AI on the back end. So we have gone from simple OCR to be able to digitalize photos, to be able to know how to best to grow your crops. But with all these higher standards come higher stakes. And with higher stakes, there are more things that can actually go wrong with AI implementation. But we are on this earth and we're human beings, and it's our job to make sure that we do the right thing, not only for ourselves as individuals, not only for our companies and the organizations that we work for, but also for our society as a whole. But this is much simpler said than done, right? So how do we actually make sure that AI is acting as our friend more than our foe? Can we let it loose without any governance or any structure in place? We'll come to that. But AI is known for two things, and there are risks in each of those two things. And we'll dive into each of those right now. The first is that AI is known to be probabilistic. What does this mean? Think about the weather forecast as a metaphor for AI systems. It looks scientific, and it is. And therefore, it's probably reliable, but it's not. And we need to design for this kind of tension in AI. The second thing that AI is known for is for its ability to learn over time. Sometimes that proves to be an advantage, and sometimes it's quite tragic. In this case, the reporter was pregnant, and her social media app served her with pregnancy-related ads when she started posting about the pregnancy. Her baby was stillborn, but she still kept getting those ads. We just can't get the algorithms evolve without control. So AI learns over time, and that is true. But who are the people putting in the algorithms into the AI systems? It's us as human beings. So Taybot here clearly says, I learned from you and you are dumb too. Clearly pointing at the fact that we are the root cause of the problem. So is AI is it a technical problem, or is it a human problem? The truth is that it is a hard human problem because it touches everyone in our society. What will help us take a human-centric perspective and redesign AI systems? And think about the entire product design process. How can we be human-centric in every single stage of our AI implementation? These are the 6 AI principles that Microsoft has embedded into every single AI implementation to make sure that AI is implemented in a responsible manner. We will dive into each of these now. The first is known to be, obviously, fairness, or how do you remove biasness? We need to ensure that AI is fair and not programmed to make biases or discriminatory decisions that we have prohibited human beings from making. Same rules apply. We need to understand that there is a significant amount of work that needs to be done to make sure that we achieve this, like attracting a diverse pool of AI talent, developing analytical techniques, developing guidelines. The second principle, reliability and safety. We must ensure that technology is reliable and safe, which has been a big issue for technology since at least the days of the automobile. The creation of the car led to the development of a number of different safety standards that helped us improve the safety of drivers and society more broadly. So designed for unexpected circumstances. The third principle is privacy and security. This involves taking all of the learning that emerged around the world in the context of information technology and applying it to this next generation of computing. So provide good controls, establish accountability, be transparent about AI systems because privacy is looming large in the digital era. AI must definitely be inclusive. So what does that mean? It must be developed and deployed in a way that can benefit all and is accessible by all. Microsoft's vision in this case is about democratizing technology, and this applies to AI. So inclusive design practices are key, and enhancing opportunities for those with disabilities is also key. These core principles are underpinned by two foundational principles. The first is transparency. So people can't identify whether progress is being made on the top four principles that we discussed unless there is enough transparency around how systems have been built and how they function. The second core principle is accountability, and probably the most important of all principles. Ultimately, one of the biggest questions for our generation, as the first generation that is bringing AI to society, is how to ensure that computers will remain accountable to people and how to ensure that people that design and computers remain accountable to anyone else. So keeping that accountability is key. Technology innovation is not going to slow down, but how we embed it with all the governing and responsible practices around it is where we need to speed things up. And this can go wrong if not done right. So this is where responsible AI comes in. And with that, I just want to say thank you.